Uh, I think we are live. Uh, yes. Good evening to everyone who's here. We are all students from the first year of IIM Lucknow, and we are we are from Team Ignition, who run a student mentorship program for all the students who have been shortlisted for IIM Lucknow, and have been trying to. We have released a PI kit as of now, and have been trying to resolve students' doubts. This session has been called so that we could answer questions live and also give tips and tricks from our side and also talk about our journeys, not just during the interviews of IIM Lucknow, but also past and how the life at IIM Lucknow has been as of now. So I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Amay Samant. I have done my graduation from IIT Guwahati in biotechnology, post which I studied for UPSC for a couple of years, could not clear it. Went on to work as a business analyst for 1.5 years at an NBFC. And then I'm here at IIM Lucknow. I am pursuing my majors in agribusiness management. Over to you, Karan.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you guys for joining, and a big congratulations to everyone who got shortlisted for IIM Lucknow. Yeah, I'm Karan Sejpal. I hail from Mumbai, Maharashtra. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I have 2.5 years of work at Morgan Stanley in internal audit, post which I joined IIM Lucknow. And yeah, it's been great so far, and looking forward to see you guys and taking up your questions. Moving on to you, Amandeep.
Right. Hi guys. Yeah, I am Amandeep Singh. I hail from Chandigarh. I completed my undergrad in chemical engineering from BITS Goa. Post that, I have 3 years of work ex with Deutsche Bank. I have been pursuing finance since then, and that's why I am here in IIM Lucknow as well. Looking forward to this session. Feel free to shoot any question, guys. Over to you, Divya.
Hi everyone. First of all, many congratulations for getting a call from IIM Lucknow. I am Divya Singh. I did my bachelor's in chemistry from Miranda House, University of Delhi. I am a fresher, and here at IIM Lucknow, I am a PGP student. Looking forward to taking all of your questions. Over to you, Roshan.
So, hi everybody. My name is Roshan Kumar Patel. I belong to Riva MP, and I have done my electrical engineering from NIT Bhopal. I have close to 4 years of work ex with Ministry of Defense, and I also worked with Ministry of Railways. So pure government and pure engineering background from my side, and with a work ex of 4 years. So I hope I will be able to relate with maximum people there out who are seeking guidance in these regions. And happy to see you all here after getting call from IIM Lucknow, and hope to help you all. Thank you.
Yes, so I think we can go to the first question. I think someone has asked if they could still get a mentor. So basically, we opened our forms the first time, and then we opened them again for people who had lost, who could not fill during the deadline. If anyone is still left, you could reach out to any one of us from Team Ignicion. We have our Instagram ID. You could reach out there, and we would try to find a mentor for you. Although it won't be done quickly, but yes, definitely we'll try to make some sort of a resolution for any problems any shortlisted candidate has. I think another question that is being asked is so the next question I can see is that how to answer tell me about your self questions. So this is the first question which is basically usually asked in the interview. It does not mean that you have to give out your entire CV talk for 7 minutes and give each and every achievement that you've had. Your interviewers do have a fact sheet on you. I think, or at least what worked for me was talking about my personal experience, who I am as a person, and then maybe try to generate some sort of a human interest to back up the facts and the numbers that are there on the paper in front of them so that they can figure out who I am as a person. So that is something that could help you. I would ask everyone who is in quandary about this question, let's just do some soul searching. Try to figure out, how what led you to come to this point of this juncture of your life. What have you done up till now? Who are you as a person? What interests you? You could talk about your hobbies. You could talk about your education. You could talk about your passion. You could talk about some what drives you, or you could talk about where you see yourself in the future. So all of these methods, all of these approaches are good. Choose whatever works for you. Try to be natural. Don't try to answer in a very uh, robotic manner. Try to be, smile, look at the interviewers, try to smile, and then I'm sure that will turn out good. I think it is just a icebreaker question, so don't really worry about it. Try to just show who you are as a person. I think any one of us could take the next question.
And just before we move on to the next question, to add to that, I think one important aspect of this "Tell me about yourself" question is that it allows you to drive the interview in the way that you want. So I would suggest that you pick up some talking points and draft your question around the points that you want to talk about in your interview. So that would really help you tackle known topics or known discussions that you've already had. So you should definitely incorporate in that in your answer as well.
Adding to what Amandip just said, so what I added in my like when the interviewer asked me about my journey, I did mention my research papers because I knew about them and I wanted professors to ask me on that papers. So what are you well prepared of? Do mention it in your tell me about yourself so that the interview gets in your favor and you are very comfortable in answering those questions.
Another question that I see in the chat is, will there be a set of topics given in VAT, or will there be just single topic for everyone, irrespective of the course for which they are selected? Karan, do you want to take that up?
Yeah, I think it's a single topic irrespective of the course that you select because the interviews happen parallelly. There are no separate interviews for separate courses. So, I mean, it's going to be the same topic irrespective of whether you're a PGP or a PGP ABM student. And it's going to be an on-the-spot topic, so you like have to be ready for it and practice your what skills till you have time. And for what I would suggest, I mean, just keep on reading on current affairs, stay updated. I used to read newspapers daily. You can do whatever suits you. There is social media, there is applications, newspapers, whatever works for you. YouTube.
I think a lot of times also you could try writing some what topics. So I think a lot of we have suggested some topics in our PI kit, and you could take anything else up. Write maybe one or two topics every day. I think practice makes perfect. Also, just look at the timeline that has been given. So I think 20 or 25 minutes allowed for 300 words. So just maybe take a couple of minutes, 5 minutes to the structure in your head, two, three paragraphs, how you want to put it up. You want the first para to have the introduction, the second to have arguments, or maybe uh, you can substantiate your arguments better. You can have for or against in the second para, and then the third para where you conclude. So maybe just take a couple of minutes, 5 minutes of the 20 minutes to just think of what you are going to write. And then the rest of the time, you can just divide it up and write quickly. Uh, for me, what worked was not trying to focus on finding that one quote which would fit in perfectly. A lot of times, what happens with us is we try to find the perfect answer rather than finding the right answer with the time that you have. So it is also a test of not just getting the best answer, but also getting the best possible output in the time that you have. So pace yourselves carefully, and I think it won't be a problem. I think just write uh, whatever you think, just try to articulate your views in the best possible way, and I think that is good enough. Uh, I think there is another question for the ABM program. I think Manisha Kumari has asked this question. Manisha, I am from the ABM program. In the first year, so if you wanted to talk about the learnings that we are going to get out of this institute, there is not a huge amount of difference. The first year, all PGP and ABM students have the same curriculum. We sit in the same classes, we learn the same subjects. Uh, Once the first year is done, in the second year, what happens is People get subjects or choose subjects based on their majors. So some people like Amandeep would go for financial subjects. Let's say Roshan would go for some other subjects. I would go for maybe marketing if I was inclined that way. And agriculture also, we have some subjects. These subjects are not completely agriculture based. They are rather implementation or use of business in agriculture. So you won't have to, so it is not going to be completely technical. Even if you are someone who is not from an agricultural background, you are going to be able to adapt to it easily. The main the focus there is to find business applications for agriculture and not just agriculture as we think of it in layman terms. So rest assured, the program is beautifully designed, and it is very relevant to the industry. So if you do get shortlisted, please make sure that you give your 100% to converting your calls.
Coming to the question of next question, is preparing the current affairs in the kit good enough? I believe yes, it is necessary but not sufficient, I would say, because everybody belongs to a different background. And let's say if you have a background in petrochemicals, then you would need to have a knowledge of, like, let's say, what's going around in petrochemical industry, its rivals, what's the current news, how the market is going about it. So I believe whatever is your background, please try to prepare something in relation to that background, like the background knowledge of the same, and in addition to it, what's currently going on in the market based on the newspaper, and that is very easily available in newspaper, be it the Hindu or Economic Times or any paper that per se. I think that would help you. Along with budget, yes, because by the time, let's say, if your interview is after Feb, like first Feb, today budget has been presented. So yes, knowing the highlights of the budget would be necessary, because most of the budget which has been presented today will be passed on in the final budget. So yes, being thorough with the budget would be helpful, especially the parts which are relevant to you or the highlights of the budget.
Yeah, just to add on to that budget part, right? And also, I mean, if you come from a fin background, or if you've worked in finance or studied finance, just make sure that you have an opinion on the budget, because there might be a off chance that the interviewer might ask you about what do you think, how is the government thinking about the budget, where are they going, like what are they looking like, what is the future looking like, and what is the government thinking like. So do have an opinion about the budget or any highlights about the budget.
Yes, I think adding to Karan's point, I think a lot of current affairs shouldn't be just taken on face value. You need to dig deeper into it. Let's say if you want to talk about the Ram temple being built, you could also talk about the industry, that is the GDP effect that is going to come of it, the new hotels, accommodations, the other industry that is going to grow around it. So you need to think of all news, not just in terms of. Uh, so basically, the point is that whenever you are thinking of a question, try to think what the next question would be. So always try to build just one more layer of knowledge to what you see in plain sight. And current affairs, just keep in touch with current affairs, and that I think should work. Also, another point is try not to have very political opinions. Try to be not to be very extremist, because there you do not want to get into a debate on political affairs, on political issues in the interview. But whatever works for you. Let's say you are a political major, you have done psychology or something like that, then you could go pursue that line of interviewing as well. A lot of the interview is based on you, how you drive it. People, you won't have no one of us has had the same interview in 5 institutes. Every interview has always been on how the person who's sitting in front of us, the interviewer may know something. So if I talk about, let's say I'm from Mumbai, the interviewer might have visited Mumbai, or his or her hometown may be Mumbai. So they could ask me, grill me on that. But if they had no idea about it, they won't. So a lot of the interview also goes with what the interviewer knows about, what fields that what congruence there is in the fields that you have studied and what they know about. So just make sure that you are clear in how you talk about, how you go about it, and make sure that you do not try to give fake answers, because they might catch you in that. sometime.
So, Miyamura Kun asks, I have only 6 months of work ex. Does having only 1 year of work ex when joining IIML make things difficult during PI and after joining if converted? uh, I think Divya has the least amount of work ex over here. Do you want to tackle that? Divya?
Not least, I have zero work ex. I'm a fresher. There is no such thing called difficulty, and you will find diversity here at campus. You'll find people with 4 to 5 years of work ex, and also people who have just came out of college and joined IIM Lucknow. So you get opportunities for everything. There are a lot of platforms here, especially for freshers, where you can build your skills, where you can explore yourself, where you can actually know what you want to do. There are a lot of programs that happen at the campus, including live projects, internships, where you can explore yourself, what exactly you want to do. Basically, you are scared that it will make things difficult. So I would say, as a fresher, I did not face any difficulty. Yeah, so excited to meet you at campus.
Moving on to the question of Lolify, uh, he or she says, I went through the topic given in the PDF, how to tackle a topic which is alien to you or your domain. I think you are referring to VAT per se. So I believe, let's say, if there is any topic which is completely alien to you, first of all, one should have enough readings, or one tend to have enough readings so as to acclimatize with all kinds of topics. Even though, let's say, if the topic is not in your favor or it is completely alien to you, there would be some link to uh, to the knowledge which you have, like to the knowledge you have gained after reading whatever you have done in your life. Let's say there is a topic, let's say it has some social implications, or it has some technological implications, or it has some political connection. Try to, as per me, what I would do is I would try to connect it with the branches which I know of and give the references to the same. So in this way, you won't go completely blank, and also you would have wide variety of thoughts, because in general there is a framework called PESTEL framework. So which you might have heard, political, economical, social, technological kind of things. So try to link those topics to the areas which you are aware of. This would show, first, you have a wide area of connections and you have a wide area of knowledge in different fields. Second, you are able to connect the dots in the wider phenomenon regions. So I think this would help you if such case arise.
Adding to that, also, if you have no clue about that topic, like you can also at that point you are in a lot of pressure and surrounded by a lot of things. You might not able to think a lot during that spot. So do not try to say anything, whatever pops up in your mind. Just simply say, "Sorry, sir, I don't know about this much. I will definitely go and read about it." Something like. Do not try to say anything in front of professors, because they know when you say anything or globe, they know.
I think Divya will have to give them some KT about what globe means. But yeah, moving on. So I'll take up Lakshmi's question. She says, will the panel go deep into undergrad subject knowledge? So basically your academics. So, I mean, it depends. I mean, if you're a fresher, then obviously there is nothing else but your academics that, the interviewers focus on. But even if you say have a lot of work experience, there is an off chance that they might ask you about your undergrads or any professional course that you've gone through. I remember during my interview, even though I had done CA, I was asked about my subjects during my BCom. And as I mean, if there is any CA online, they must be knowing that we don't take BCom that seriously. But they asked me about that. And you have to sort of be ready for that. So it is important that you brush up on your academics. But if you're a fresher, then for sure you have to be prepared with it.
Also, I would like to add a little bit upon that. So I did my graduation in chemistry, and the interviews are mostly taken by the professors at IIM Lucknow. So they are not more aware about the science subject. So what I did not go through my graduation subject because I knew that they would not ask so deep in chemistry. So I just went through the basics of 11, 12, and the general affairs around chemistry and delve deeper into that.
And even if you are an engineer or somebody with work ex, it would definitely help if you brush up on the subjects which are related to your work experience at least, because of course you have been disconnected from your major studies for quite a long time and have been working now. But so they expect you to be very familiar with the theory of the subjects that you've been dealing with day to day in your work. So you should be familiarized with your theory even if you have some work ex. Apart from
Yeah,
that, yeah.
sorry, Amandeep. I'll just add one thing. One thing that I noticed during my round of interviews was that they used to ask which is your favorite subject. So be prepared with that. Select one subject that you really like and make sure that you know a lot of things about that subject. So that will help you, drive the interview to in your favor if you have a favorite subject and you're able to talk about it and reason with the interviewer.
Another question that I see in the chat is how to answer why I am Lucknow. So I think this is one of the very familiar questions that we come across. If you have calls from ABC, why would you go to IIM Lucknow? The thing to note here is that all of the IIMs have some of their own flavor to it. The thing that IIM Lucknow is known most for is its academic rigor and the way the curriculum is scheduled is made up is very thoughtful and is very and it goes deep into the subject. So which is why it's called hell as well. But you get used to the way you are pushed here, and that's something which IIM Lucknow is really known for. Um, and as far as the curriculum goes, it was, I think, designed by IIM in association with IIM Ahmedabad. So they are very well versed with that. I think that is something to that you can mention in the answer. You can also maybe pick up names of a few professors or subjects that you might be interested in, and you say that you want to pursue a course under them or study under them. You can take that kind of line of thought as well.
Another
Taking on the
thing I would
question. Acha, okay, please continue.
So another thing you should know about, or maybe is not that famous, is that in IIM Lucknow we have student-run ventures. So we have on campus we have three ventures which are run by students. There is bidding each year for that venture, and then they work at it as if it's a startup, and then are usually profitable. So that happens. You have the alumni base. You could talk about the the academic rigor. You could talk about the location itself. No, there are some people who want to stay close to home. So I think just try to find out more about the campus. Try to know more about the academic rigor, the alumni base, and all the things, activities that happen on campus. A good thing would be to talk to your mentors, so you would get an idea of how life here is. So basically, you may sometimes have very high, very sugary dreams, but then the campus life here is tough. So you might want to talk to your mentors, and you will get a better idea at how life at IIM Lucknow is, and that maybe will get you more ready to come to IIM Lucknow.
So I'm taking question of Naveen Kumar, where he says, I have work ex of 3 to 4 years. How much will the panel focus on UG background? Will it be a minus if we are unable to answer questions from UG background? So first of all, there is no hard and fast rule as it is said in the coachings or by the people. Like if you have, let's say I have 4 years of work ex and I won't be asked question from academic background because it's been long. It's not the case. It depends on the mood and your luck per se on that day. But I would advise you to go through to go through the basics of whatever UG background you have. In addition to it, have a good knowledge of your work experience and like the industry's rivals in your domain, like and how they perform. Where do you stand? Like not only in India but across the world. So yes, but it won't be a minus if you won't be able to answer questions because there would be some questions which you won't be able to answer. But whatever you answer it confidently. I would say A is this. B, if you don't know, just say them yes. I have to revisit this or I have to go back on this, and I don't know as of now.
Yes, so even for me in my interview, I was asked about my undergrad background. I had graduated in 2018 and I was giving the interview in 2022 or 23. the beginning. So it had been quite a long time. I have done my bachelor's in biotechnology, and I was asked to draw the DNA molecule, and I went into the molecular basics. I started drawing the molecular structure, and then the professors asked that no, I just wanted the double helix. So it's sometimes they don't want to know, how in depth you know it. They don't want to know the exact detail. They just want to know that you know the fundas. You are clear about your basics. You weren't just, sleeping at home and let your 4 years go by. So they just want to know that you are good with basics. You have understood the pillars of whatever your undergrad subject was. You don't have to be thorough with the definitions, or you don't have to rectify the exact equations. You just need to know how it works and why it works like that. So, and a lot of times, you can have conversations during interviews in simple talk. You don't need to get very technical. So maybe try that as well. You don't have to just give the perfect answer.
Taking on the question of Miyamura Quinn, where he or she says, I got IML and I calls this time. I didn't fill the form for Indore as I didn't want to join something below A, B, C, and L. So if they ask me what other calls I have, should I tell IML is the only call? So I would suggest you, yes, it's your call. Like there are two options. One is you can directly say yes, IML was the best call because it was same for in my case. IML was my best call. I didn't got call from I, so there's no that the decreasing order for that sake that you will be caught. Even though second option would be if you want to mention yes, like if you had both L and I calls and you didn't fill for I, you can justify the reason, like because and as long as you justify the reason like why it was the case, it's good to go and it's well to do. So I think both are the case possible and both are very feasible possible options for you as well. So I think you can take an informed call.
So Aravind Gopal asks, how well does IIML support students to pursue entrepreneurship? Can I be open in interview that it is the way I want to go? And does IIML have incubators? Well, Aravind, first of all, yes, you can be open in the interview about what you want to pursue. There is no hard and fast rule that you need to pursue a particular domain. I personally know a lot of alumni who have gone on to open their own ventures and have done really well. IML in no way curbs that. In fact, as Amay mentioned earlier in the video, that we do have student-run ventures on campus. There are businesses, multiple businesses being run on campus by students. They bid for it every year, and it's an experience that something that you get to experience running an entire business on your own on campus. That is a good thing, and it doesn't have incubators per se, but
I'm sorry, Ramandeep, I think we do. I mean, it's not SIDBI. So the SIDBI Center is actually an incubator that we have. I mean, it's not as big, but we do have an incubator, and also our Noida campus has a more entrepreneurship oriented incubator over there. Larger chunk of it happens over there, but on our campus also we have an incubator.
Taking up Joydeep's question, he says that he has a physics background and what kind of questions he can expect. So, as far as I can remember from my interview, I was mostly asked the questions which are like very common in chemistry. So, giving some examples, I was asked the thermodynamic equation, some fatal craft reactions. So, whatever strikes in the top of their head, like when they hear chemistry or physics, whatever strikes their head, they will ask you those questions. Just one tip: do remember the name of the Nobel laureates, recent Nobel laureates, because they most of them ask this question in interview. And do not just remember their names, also try to read once what they did and what they received the Nobel Prize for.
Lolify asks, if someone's composite score is 1 point less than the minimum cutoff during the selection for what PI call, will he or she still have a chance to convert the call? I think this varies every year, but if it's just one, I think there is still a chance that you can convert it in the following rounds. Um, Others, do you also want to pitch into that? I'm not
So
sure.
yeah. So I think the cutoff is fixed. I mean, if once the calls are out, there are no additional calls that are given. So it's just that during once your interview is done, the wait list keeps on moving basis which students accepting or rejecting the admission. But the once the cutoff is released and the interviews are announced, there is no further additional cutoffs or shortlists that are given.
I think another thing that all candidates should focus on is just right now you are in the phase where you are supposed to just convert all the calls you have. Please don't worry about, if this is a good call, this is a bad call, if I will be able to make it here, do I have the numbers right? Don't worry about any of that. You have crossed one stage, you are on to the next stage. Now, all your efforts and all your focus should be just on clearing the interview that you have and writing a good word. And that's it. And then leave the rest to the people who are giving the marks and who are going to process everything. Just give your 100%. Stay positive throughout the process. That the truth is that we've all been through this and we know how hectic it can be. We have we remember, we many of us talking to our old friends and just saying, I don't know why I did this. I was earning enough money in my job, or I was living a decent life. Why am I, taking so much efforts? But don't really worry about all of these things. Don't really worry about the macroeconomic things, anything that is going out on around and outside. Just focus on your own journey, your own interviews, clear them, and then once you have them cleared, then you can, of course, think about, be picky and choosy, and think about what you want to do next. But when you are in this stage, just focus entirely on giving your interviews.
Uh,
You don't
I have
count
seen the
that.
comment of Miyamura Kun. I think it's a good reasoning for you. When moving on to the next question, do we have to prepare for guesstimates? I think you can, but better prepare it for SIPs here because they might not be asked during the IML interview or for that any say for any IIM interview because that is not what is expected out of you. But if you want, you can. But yes, if you are coming to any of the IIMs or doing MBA for that sake, please do prepare if you really know guesstimates for your SIPs of summers.
The next question is from Manisha Kumari. I am from agri background and have ABM call. Do I need to prepare all the UG subjects or will one or two be enough? Uh, Manisha, the thing is, you cannot, you just don't have to prepare the entire syllabus. If you are a fresher, maybe they would a lot of time of your interview would be focused on your accounts. But if you have some work experience, that might not be the case. If you are a fresher, then you might have to check up on uh, basic agriculture logics like cropping patterns and stuff like that. You don't have to be prepared in detail with which crop cycle goes on where and what type of crops are there right now. So you need to rather focus on what happens with high yielding varieties. How is agricultural produce per acre being increased in India? What are the government's policy reforms, or what is happening with your minimum sale price MSP, which is being given? So you could think about all of those things, and rather than focusing on all of those subjects, you just need to know what is happening, right? So don't be too scared. Don't try to pick up your books and start to study all of the things that you learned in the 3 or 4 years of your course in 2 days or one week. Just be realistic about how much you can know and give good answers. Just try to be honest about your answers, and I think that will work.
I'll take up Alek's question. Alek is asking, my composite score is on the lower side. Can my interview performance overshadow this lower score to convert? I would say obviously it will. You just have to, I mean, your composite score does not matter when you are being interviewed, right? So you just have to be confident and go for the interview as if you don't know what your score is. And just be confident during the interview. Your composite score does not matter when the interviewer is asking you questions and interviewing you. So you have just as much chance as the guy who was on the top of the list. So don't worry about that.
Adding on to what Sejpal said, I was in this situation because my composite score was on the lower side. So there are generally three scenarios. This is not hard and fast written rule, but there are three scenarios in an interview for any IIM for that sake. There's one. Number one is when they want you in the campus, then they will give you so much high marks in the interview that you will definitely land in the first list only. This was my case. I scored around 42 out of 50 in interview, because of which I am here. Just because my 10th and 12th was a little low, even though my CAT was around 99.6, but my 10th and 12th was low, because of which my composite score went on the lower side. And they definitely wanted me onto the campus because of the performance in interview. They gave me so much high marks because the mean score is around 25 out of 50 in the interviews, which we took as a what should I say, as a review from our batch. But I got that higher score. So this can happen with you as well. Second case is when your interview performance is so, like it's okay, it's not very impressive, then they generally give you average marks, and they let your fate decide, or your composite score decide whether you would be coming to the campus or not. And third is when they definitely don't want you in the campus, then you will be given so much less marks. Then doesn't matter how much score you have in the composite, because there is a criteria of scoring at least, as far as I remember, around 14 or 15 minimum marks you should score out of 50 in the interview in order to qualifying this stage. So there are in general three cases. There are no hard and fast written rule. This is purely on the basis of my experience. So I think this would help you with your doubts. Thank you.
Kshitija asks how to prepare for VAT. So actually, Kshitija, the best way to prepare for VAT would be to practice. As much as you practice, that will come in handy on the final day. I would suggest doing at least 3 VATs per day. Another thing would be to stay updated with all of the current affairs topics, since you'll get your VAT around that. And the best thing that worked out for me was to structure my VAT consistently every time around. My essay would consist of an introduction followed by, more description about the topic, and then by a conclusion. And then you can also pick up certain template lines for starting or ending your essay, and that can really help you out. But yeah, definitely stay updated with whatever is happening around the world, uh, because that is something that they'll definitely cover as your VAT topic.
Another question we have is dress code important? So I would say yes, because if you look good, you have this confidence when you go for the interview. Also, you can be asked questions on what have you dressed. Like I was also asked a question on the color of my formals. So try to be prepared on that lines also. And I think that dress up well and smile there. Keep a smile on your face, and it will work wonders.
Yeah, and since the time we have left COVID, we are back to how interviews are actually done live. So, of course, if you dress well, it gives out a good impression. Your first impression is the way you look. So, for people who have beards, do go shaved, and yeah, do have a formal approach to how you go into the interview.
There is a question by Milan Parmar that says, are there any hotel management graduates in the college? Yes, Milan, we do have people coming from various different walks of life. We have lawyers, we have doctors, we have architects, we have hotel management graduates on campus. So you don't need to worry about your background. The more unique your background is, the more varied perspective you can add to the conversations in class. And IIM Lucknow or any MBA college is always looking forward to accepting people from different streams, so that a more holistic thought process can be built for the entire class during discussion.
Taking on the question of Rahul K, do the panelists grill on past bad academics if they have been falling consistently? I believe there are types of interviews, whether they grill or if they don't grill. So I believe if they grill you, and if you are able to justify why there was bad academics for that sake, because they're generally asking these questions whether you would perform the same in this college as well or not, because anybody won't like to waste one seat just because that person don't want to study in a good college like this. So, but if you have passed a bad academics because of some reason, you can surely say like what was the reason and justify it properly. Because uh, any bad thing which happened, if justified, is taken on the good side for any interviewer, because there's no one who has a clean slate in his or her life, and this happens with everybody. And moving on to next question, if you are unfamiliar with that topic, will they guide us with any hint? So straight away, mostly no, they don't guide you, because if you're coming for interview of a YPI process, they expect you to know such things. And very frankly speaking, there are no topics there out there which you don't know entirely. There would be some branches or some links to it which you would know about. And I think having cleared the stage one, I believe you all are pretty well adept with the knowledge and what should I say, skill to build upon that.
I would like to add to this. So I have bad academics in UG. I had 90% in 10th and 12th, and then performed bad at my undergrad. And I was able to explain that I was culturally active. I was I was doing sports. I was doing a lot of things on campus, and which is why, because of the freedom afforded to me and my desire to learn about new things, I was not able to concentrate fully on acads. And that is, I think, I was able to justify it by not just uh, talking about what I wanted to do, but also talking about what I was able to achieve in that time. So just don't think about not doing well as something bad. You could talk about the different types of value that you have added in those years. It doesn't just have to be academic value. You could have pursued arts, you could have pursued sports, or you could have pursued something else. You could have done Model United Nations or some other thing. So don't really worry about that particular part. If you are able to show that you have been a person who is consistently adding value to their life and trying to achieve better things, I think that is good enough. Just want to see students who are eager to learn and who have the potential to grow into excellent CXOs, or you know uh, create jobs rather than just be a person seeking jobs. I think we have
I'll take up
another question.
Ishan's question. I'll just take up Ishan's question. He's asking whether is lack of achievement or extracurricular a problem as a fresher. I would say no, because you're a fresher, you have been studying all this while. So I mean, there is not a lot of expectations from you, right? I mean, you've done well in acads, you've cracked CAT, and you've got the shortlist. So you have to be confident more than anything else. I mean, not everyone is good at extracurriculars, or has an entrepreneurial mindset, or has done something in the college. So it's not necessary. Just be confident about whatever you've achieved so far in your life. And of course, there is something everyone has that stands out, and stick to that and be confident is what I would say. There is no necessity for you to, be active in extracurriculars or any achievement that you think your batchmate might have and you might not.
I will answer two questions here. First, asked by Alia Garge. Can you walk us through how VAT is conducted? Do they read what we have written in front of us? So, generally, how VAT is conducted for IIM Lucknow, for that sake, how it was conducted for us was we were called in batches in a room. Like, let's say, one complete panel will be called in a room. And then we are given the topic, and then some around 1 or 2 minutes to write upon it, like what are the thoughts. And then they are just submitted. They don't either read or do anything for that sake in front of you. They might do it before you are called for interview, but they don't do any such thing in front of you. And second question was, I don't have certificates for POR because my college didn't provide the same. Will it cause problem if I mention about it in interview? No, I don't think so, because there are many certificates which might be lost in the process, and they don't ask for that certificates as well, because it happened in my IT Delhi interview where they asked for the certificates, but in IIM Lucknow they don't prefer to do so. They just ask for what you have done and how well you justify it. Everything remains or is ratified on the basis of justification you give. More convincing it is, the more probability it is to be believed.
I think I'll take the next question. It is from Miyamura. It is that what to ask if they ask us, do you have any questions for us? So this is a very important question. Matlab, some people are asked this question, some are not. I was asked this question in a lot of interviews, and it depends on how you could ask about something. If you faltered in some answer during the interview, you could ask that, where did I go wrong? You could talk about trying to, you know, uh, asking about that factor. You could also talk about the college. You could ask about, if you have a particular, you want to, something you aspire to do, you could ask if the college would give me that opportunity, if I could be able to do that in this college. You could also ask your interviewers if there is something, some quality you think I should work on, something you found through the 20 minutes, the conversation that we've had. Do you think that I need to improve on something? So you need to, it doesn't have to be a fixed question. You don't have to ask the same question. You could be flexible. You could ask depending on the interview. You could ask depending on your own personal choice, or you could have a generic sort of a question. But just make sure that the it is consistent with the interview that you have had. Don't try to ask a question which just stands out. It does not have to stand out. It should rather seem in sync or in flow with whatever you have been saying, or who you are as a person throughout the interview.
I think we missed one of the questions from Chromo. So Chromo is asking that I sent IIM admission team request to reschedule interview. They replied they might consider. What is the success rate of such reschedules? So I think it is equal. I mean, you have an equal chance. As long as you are appearing for the interview, everyone has an equal chance to convert. So don't worry about that. As long as they are conducting your interview and they're okay with rescheduling it, you have an equal chance. So don't worry.
Aravind has asked, I appeared for improvement examination for 12th due to low mark in first attempt due to an accident. Wrote 12th board again in the next year and scored good marks. Will that 1 year break be an issue? Well, Aravind, it's all about how you put it across. I personally also suffered an accident due to which I had to uh, increase one term during my undergrad. But as you said that it was due to an accident, you can clearly be honest about it and upfront about it, and even try to create a story about it as to how you came across. And as you said that you performed well in the second time around, so that of course adds to your strengths. So instead of playing it to on a negative note, you can obviously turn it around and show it as one of your strengths, as something that you've combated and come across, and then were able to succeed and again give the 12 board exams and score well. So that is something which can really play to your strengths instead of looking at it in a negative light. So, but do draft a sample answer because this might be a question that you come across.
Shwetaza is asking another question. Can we wear a sari for the interview? You can wear a formal sari if you are comfortable and able to carry it well. You can wear it. Just make sure it's formal, and it gives you confidence. Like, I personally didn't find a sari more comfortable, so I wore formal. So it's on you. If you can carry it well, if it gives you more confidence, please do wear it.
MS Abhinesh is asking what can be the answer for why should we select you? I think that's completely a personal question. I mean, what I did in my case was I highlighted a few strong points that I think that I had. I highlighted few things that I achieved over my academics and my professional career, and I think I put it across as something that would stand out against comparing to the panel that was going to follow after me. So I think few things that you think are your strengths and that are highlights in your career, and I'm sure, I mean, there is no one. If you've been shortlisted for the interview, trust me, you have some highlights. You have to stay confident, bring these things out So if you have time for your interview, right, you can think upon these things. You can think where do my strong points lie? Where have I done academically good? Where am I academically bad? And highlight these things during your interview. You can push the interviewer to ask questions about a particular subject if you are that confident about that subject. So think about these things, bring out your strengths during the interview, and be ready for this.
And another thing to note on that would be that you don't just say your achievements, you also substantiate them with credible proof. You don't just say that you're hardworking, you also tell them why you think so, and you substantiate that with an example. It really does play out well.
Next question, I think it has been reiterated twice. So it's from Chromo. It says, I sent IML admission team request to reschedule interview. They replied that they might consider it. What is the success rate of such reschedules, and are you aware of any failed schedule? So there are
Yeah.
two things. Is one is in general, it is advisable to give your interviews on the specified dates only, because that is the official communication. And second, if there is literally any situation where you are completely unable to do it, then you might write a mail to the admissions team. They will reply to it with this. And yes, generally it is being rescheduled, but there's no guarantee, because it's on the basis of availability of panel. So it's strongly advised to give your interviews on the first or whatever dates that has been mentioned by the admission teams.
Piyush has
I take the next question. It is from Abhinav Srijan. It says that Piyush Mundra. He says, I have 2 years of work experience. How important is current affairs during the interview? Also, is the interview going to be around work experience or a CAT? So if you have 2 years of work experience, predominantly might be about work experience. Current affairs as such may be related to your work experience. If you are working in the finance domain, it could be revolving around that. If you are working in operations, they could ask something related to that. So whatever field you are in, just make sure that you know what the recent highlights or recent current affairs highlights are. So you are not caught there. You're also if you have 2 years of work experience, ACADS might not be grilled upon as much, so don't worry about them. But then, as we have discussed through the time we've been answering, that do have a couple of subjects which are your favorites ready. So if you're asked about it, you could at least talk about them.
People are asking, do we need to carry a resume to the interview? No, you don't. This the what PI form that you have filled is enough, and the certificates, of course, the things that back up whatever you've written in the what PI form are essential, but there is no requirement of carrying a resume.
Adding
and
to that, just prepare a folder where you have all your certificates. What happened in my interview was the professor who was taking my interview just asked me to hand over my folder to her, and just she went through all the certificates and mark sheets I had. Also, this incident happened with me that she went through the mark sheet, and there was this subject, environmental chemistry, and she asked me a particular question from that. So be prepared about that also.
I think with the candidates for IIM Lucknow, we also have a couple of our batchmates. And so, and one question that I think one of our batchmates has asked is why is IIM Lucknow called hell? I think that is a good question for us to, give some insights on. It is because when we used to sleep for 8 hours during our work life, we thought that we are, working too much and there is no work-life balance. And now we sleep for 4.5 hours. So yes, life here is difficult. You have academics, you have case papers to read for every lecture, you have lectures going on for 5, 6, 7 hours a day at times. You have your co-curriculars. We have people on this panel who are part of the alumni committee, who are part of other committees, who are doing that. Then we have people on this panel who go out to play sports in the evening. So we are not given too much time to think about what our next step should be, because our entire day sometimes just feels like it's planned for us. So there are a lot of things to do on campus. You know, you have interest groups for various academic interests. You have culturally oriented clubs. You have just people who like to play every day. And we just concluded the Hell League, which is basically like an IPL for IIM Lucknow, and we had over 15 sports in that. So a lot of opportunity for people to not just study but also develop as individuals throughout. And yes, you will, if you use the opportunities given to you well, it will, you could turn this hell into a heaven for you. So yeah, don't really worry about how heavy the workload will be when you come here. I think the when I converted my call to IIM Lucknow, my mentor told me just sleep before you come here. I was an enthusiastic kid who was asking about what I should prepare, and she said just sleep before you come here. So don't be worried about if you are going to get the right opportunities, if you are going to get the right kind of people. If you have an open mind and if you have the desire to pursue something, IIM Lucknow definitely has room for you, right?
Another question we have is Jay is asking, can you have an electrical related faculty in his panel for the interview? So I would say that panel is completely random. They does not decide your panel according to your background. So it's completely random. You need not worry about the panel. Just go prepare yourself. Be prepared about your background, your work ex, whatever you have on your profile, and that will be good.
We'll take just two more questions. One is from Chromo. My cards are pretty bad. If they ask for reasons for doing so bad in 12th, I am planning to simply tell them the truth. I simply did not work hard enough. Do you think it is a good idea? Yes, Chromo, you should definitely be honest about the reasons why you scored bad in your interview, because if you lie and if you cook up stories, they're definitely gonna catch you. So yes, be blatantly honest. But another thing to note is that 12th was a long time ago, and since then you have lived a, a huge bit of your life, and there will definitely be something that can stand out, and you can guide your interview towards that. You can say that, okay, sir, I did not do well in 12th, but you recognize that fact and you worked on it, and you did X, Y, Z, and that's how you can counter their point and say that that you are not all about your 12th, right? There is much more to you than your 12th marks. So don't be worried, just be honest and be confident in your answer. There is definitely something more that you can bring out in your interview.
Uh, we have also got few questions. People who have work experience of, let's say, 3 or 4 years, or maybe even more than that, they are mostly skeptical about whether they should be abreast of their grad knowledge or not, undergrad knowledge or not. I would strongly advise, and I would like to clear it once for and all, that even if you have a lot of work experience, or if you are a fresher, or if you are a mid-range experience, I strongly advise you from my experience is that be aware of both your work ex and your undergrad subjects, because there is no excuse of saying in the interview that I don't know just because I have X number of years of work experience. That doesn't show a good attitude on you, first. Second, it shows negligence on your part. I believe, be it any fresher or be it any person with work experience, should prepare some basics or the adequate basics of your undergrad, because that is what it shows what amount of sincerity you had in your undergrad. Because the professors or the interviewer will take that cue, that similarly will follow in an MBA as well and in the career ahead. So please do try to read about it. It would hardly take around 1 week for that sake. Or if you are we want to go thorough through it. So please do prepare for your undergrad as well.
So I guess we'll close the session with that, guys. Uh, closing in the end, I would like to say just be confident about your interview. Don't worry. All you need to do is be yourself and present yourself in the best light possible. If you guys still want a mentor, you can reach out to us on Instagram or send us a mail on ignition@iiml.ac.in, and we'll definitely get back to you with a response. But yeah, all the best, guys. All the best for your interview, and see you guys on campus.